Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular session for Clinton County Legislature for Wednesday, September 22nd. I will call the meeting to order at 5:15. Would you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, thank you. Mr. Zerlo, would you please conduct the roll?
Mr. Castine. Present. Mr. Conroy is asked to be excused. Mr. Hall.
Here.
Mr. Henry.
Here.
Mr. Hughes.
Here.
Mr. Kretzer is asked to be excused this evening. Mr. Perrier.
Here.
Mr. Potiker.
Here.
Mr. Timmons.
Here.
Ms. Waldron.
Here.
Quorum, Chairman.
Excellent, thank you. I see everybody has a mask on. That's a good thing. We highly recommend that all folks wear a mask. And those that are not vaccinated are required to wear a mask. So thank you for your cooperation. All legislators have received a copy of the stenographer's minutes of the September 8th, 2021 regular session. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes. I have a motion by Legislator Hall, second by Legislator Perrier. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Tonight, we will have a hearing on local law number 2 of 2021 titled...
I'll read the rest,
Oh,
Chairman.
thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Notice is hereby given that the Board of Legislators will conduct a public hearing regarding local law number 2 of 2021 titled Notice of Public Hearing Regarding Proposed Local Law number 2, that's a typo, amending local law number 2 of the year 2018 titled amending local law number 3 of the year 2015 titled amending local law number 2 of the year 2012 titled amending local law number 2 of the year 2011 titled amending local law number 2 of the year 2008 titled Clinton County Room Occupancy Tax Law, which shall be held Wednesday, September 2021 at 5:15 in Legislative Chambers, 137 Margaret Street, Plattsburgh, New York, at which time all persons interested shall be heard.
I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing. May I have a motion? A motion by Legislator Hughes, second by Legislator Potiker. Any discussion?
Chairman, Chairman, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you gotta get us in.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried?
Just for
Public hearing.
the record, on the public hearing, that title obviously is cumbersome. We are obligated to amend this local law and or extend this local law every 3 years. So that's why that title is that. I am conferring with the county attorney on potentially a better way to do that, but that's how we're going to proceed this year. So I know it sounds crazy, but that is the reason we need to extend the local law every 3 years.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone present who wishes to address the board regarding this matter? If so, state your name, address for the record, and in accordance with the rules of order, speakers will be limited to 5 minutes. Would anybody like to address the board on this local law? Anyone? I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing. May I have a motion? Motion by Legislator Hall, second by Legislator Perrier. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. I will now recognize anyone in the audience who wishes to share their thoughts and concerns with the legislatures. Please raise your hand if you wish to be recognized. State your name and address for the record. And again, in accordance with the rules of order, all speakers will be limited to 5 minutes. Anyone wish to speak? Okay. Well, then we'll get right into it. It is my pleasure to introduce Sylvie Nelson, who is the Executive Director of the North Country Workforce Development Board. As you know, one of the many things that Sylvie does across is 4 counties, right, Sylvie?
4 counties, yes.
Provides employment services and referrals to businesses, job training for job seekers, and many important things for the economy and the business of our area. And so, with no further ado, as they say, Sylvie?
Thank thank you so much for having me. I understand the microphone doesn't work. I've been instructed to yell. According to my kids, I yell all the time, so it shouldn't be a problem. But if you do have a hard time hearing me, let me know. Thank you so much for having me. Usually we come here to you and make a presentation annually, but unfortunately, as we all know, this was not possible last year, so I'm very glad to finally be here and give you some updates as to the type of work that we are conducting through the North Country Workforce Development Board, and more importantly through the One WorkSource centers that we have here in Plattsburgh. And we also have one in Malone for Franklin County, one in Elizabethtown for Essex County, and a satellite office through the Hamilton County Department of Social Services in Indian Lake. So as you all know, we've all been going through a huge change. It started 18 months ago, it feels like 18 years, 18 months ago when the pandemic started, and unfortunately we had to, like many other businesses, close our centers. And we were very fortunate to be able to continue serving our clients either virtually, by phone or email, and eventually, as time went by, we were able to service them through preset appointments. So we have continued our work throughout the pandemic, and some of the services went definitely virtual, including some job fairs. We also, through our biggest partner, which is the New York State Department of Labor, they implemented an online course through Coursera, and so credentials were still being able to be awarded to our clients. And unfortunately, because we work very closely, Dr. Cowell's here with Clinton Community College, but they too were shut down, so was North Country and so on. So it kind of gave us another venue, and so that was very good and positive. We are reopened to the public. We are offering most of our services. The only one that's really not up to par at this point is through the New York State Department of Labor, because they are not allowed to meet with people face to face. A lot of the employees working in our centers were reassigned through unemployment insurance. As you know, at the beginning that was a huge, huge deal. Some of them are still assigned to that, but most of them have started working more virtually through phones and things like that, but unfortunately they're not meeting anyone at this point. For us, for our organization, trying to make sure that we were, we kept relevant through all these changes and things like that. So we are working at trying to modernize our approach. One of this approach would be through a new website. So we're looking at redoing our website. The website that we presently have, which is oneworksource.com, is about 7 years old, and so you can well imagine that it's extremely static, and also we can't have any interaction virtually through the website with our clients. So for example, they can't make appointments online and things like that. So we're looking at changing that and making it a little bit more interactive so that people have better access to our services. So like I said, we are going to probably go through an RFP process in the next month or so, and then try to see how much it's going to cost, because it's always about money, and then the type of virtual services that the website will be able to provide our customers, because we don't think that this whole situation, unfortunately, is going to go away anytime soon. So that's good. The other thing I want to point out that kind of came out of this whole pandemic is, and I'm sure many of you are very aware of it, but it's the child care issue. One of the things that we have really involved ourselves in is trying to find solutions to the child care issue. So for example, a lot of child care spots closed down because the child care providers shut down. And so therefore that restrains the access of parents who are trying to re-enter the workplace or even are in the workplace, but unfortunately have young kids. And when schools shut down last year, that kind of compounded that issue, because before you had younger kids in childcare, now parents had to stay home with their a little bit older kids, but not yet old enough to be independent, so they could attend school online. What we are doing is we are part of a coalition of organizations, and we created the Stand Up for Childcare Adirondacks Advocacy group. And what that does is to, from my perspective, is to bring the business side of it, because a lot of times childcare is more a family issue, you know, people with kids and this and that. But from my perspective, childcare is a huge component of our local economy, and specifically our workforce development. So we're working in close collaboration with different organizations, the Child Care Council, Adirondack Foundation, ACAP, and we're trying to work also, and I know that there's been some presentations done through to the different counties, and we're just trying to bring awareness to that. So I want to make sure that you knew what the perspective of the Workforce Development Board was within that issue. And for me, childcare is economic development, and childcare is workforce development. So the other thing that we're looking at as we're moving forward, because the pandemic changed so many things, is our in-demand occupation list. We want to make sure that the list that we have is accurate, and also we're going to try to identify the type of jobs that are pandemic proof as we move forward, and also that offer a living wage, so that when our clients come and get the training that they get, they can enter a position and then gradually through a career pathway meet or earn a living wage while getting some training, so that it's more meaningful. And then we're also, from our perspective, more conscious of how we spend our tax dollars, because we're funded through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act. And although it is a federal law, it is in the federal dollars, it all comes from all of us. So that's one of the things that we're looking at. And the other thing I wanted to point out is that through the pandemic, we were very fortunate to receive a new grant through the Workforce Development Initiatives of the state of New York. And that grant is the Substance Opioid Abuse Recovery Grant, otherwise known as SOAR, which complement a grant that we had already received through the Department of Labor. That was the opioid grant. I think I had mentioned that the last time I was here. And that grant, unfortunately, is scheduled to sunset in December. But what we found through the opioid grant is that it was slated specifically to people who have been dislocated. And so what that means is that the people that are usually affected by opioid, they're not working, they're not being, downsized or whatever. They're already either in jail, they're homeless, they're not working. So the SOAR grant kind of complements the opioid and serves the people that we could not serve through the opioid grant. So that's, so that to us is very important, because we all know that's a crisis as well. And the last thing I want to mention to you is that we're working on a potential partnership with the University of, and I don't know if I'm saying this, but Siegen in Germany. And this would give the opportunity to our high school students to work in collaboration with their counterpart in Germany on real world problems that are brought forward by companies. And so they would tackle an issue that maybe a company doesn't have time to tackle, and then work together as a team on both sides of the ocean virtually, and then try to bring a solution to that problem to that company. And at this point, we have presented this to our education partners. I know that John couldn't make the meeting, but that's okay. And see how we can work here on this side to try to put together a team of students, and then have also like to work also like with IAM, the Institute of Advanced Manufacturing, so that we can bring some real life experience to these students. And that's really exciting. If that goes forward, we would start with a team in February. So those some of the projects that we've been working, And then I also wanted to let you know how grateful we are to have been able to work with the employees from the, and I always forget, the Clinton County Training and Employment, because Kathy Bishop, her team, they've been extremely helpful. We unfortunately do not have our financial director anymore, and so when that happened, Barb, and she just retired, I'm having a blank, I can't remember her last name, but extremely helpful, Kathy. And so that helped us out also keep on track of everything. And we think we're on good grounds because we're having our fiscal review with the Department of Labor, all virtual now, starting later this month. So that's where we're at. Do you have any questions?
Anything at all?
Just very quickly, you know, we and our community partners are always doing our very best to bring people to the community, bring jobs to the community,
Yeah.
bring businesses to the community that require people to work in those businesses. So are we sensing that it's a little more difficult to do? And if so, how can we address those challenges?
So yes, that's the comment that we hear everywhere. Unfortunately, that's the reality, and I think the pandemic also kind of compounded that problem because there were probably at the beginning of it a lot of people that were looking at retiring maybe in a year or 2 years, and then when all this happened, they decided probably to just stay put, and so that's creating a workplace gap, and we're working a lot with our schools to try to get students to understand the type of opportunities that there are in our area. I know that we work again, Clinton Community College at the table. We try to put the potential graduates or the students in touch with employers for them to understand their type of jobs that are available and things like that on a one-on-one. We call that Meet the Employer. We had a very successful meeting with Schluter System back in May. We're working on getting a schedule for this school year so that we can regularly bring forth a company so they can present what they do, how it works, the type of job opportunities, the pay, you know, the benefits and things like that to them, so they understand that in this area, if they don't already have a clear path as to how they're moving forward once graduation happens, that there are some good jobs and they can make a living and be very comfortable. So that's one of the approach. We also work very closely with the Department of Labor, specifically with the business services. They have a database of people that they serve, and they can match the job description to the type of skills of these people in their database. And then hopefully there could be a good match for the employer. But it's becoming very difficult. And so that's why for us, we want to really try to identify the type of job opportunities that are in demand, and then also try to, you know, solve those solutions. CDL drivers, I'm sure you guys at the county probably have, you know, a need for that. School districts, bus drivers, Malone School District's looking for 14 bus drivers. How can we train more people into like a CDL credential so that they can meet your employment opportunities? And because CDL is difficult because it's a one-on-one in a truck, blah, blah, blah. So is there some kind of funding that we can go after to try to bring more equipment, more training for more instructors, to try to fill that gap so that our kids can get to school, our roads can get plowed and things. So those are the type of things we're trying to work on.
All right. Any other questions? So we
Can I
think-
just add, also, thank you so much for, I'm not surprised because he's not feeling good and we don't want him here, but Josh Kretzer, Legislator Kretzer, also works in our office, and by the fact that he's your liaison, I think it's great for us because he's really in the middle of it, and he can really bring you, you know, answers to all of your questions and things like that. He's a great team worker too, so we're really glad to have him.
Oh, we were glad to provide it. Thank you for coming here tonight. We don't know how good Josh is, but he works cheap, so that's
Maybe cheaper for you than for me, but he's
thank you
worth
for
every
doing that.
penny, so, but yeah.
for bringing it up to us. And you do a lot, obviously, for employers, prospective employees, job training, and not just for our county, but for the region, for the Fort County region. So thank you for taking the time to read some speak, and thank you too for being available whenever I have a question or anything. I appreciate that.
No, you guys have always been responsive, and it's a great partnership, and I'm certainly happy, to be able to give you an update once in a while, and hopefully it won't take another.
2 years.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, we will go to committee reports. I will call on each chairperson of each committee in alphabetical order by committee. Starting with Buildings and Grounds and Legislator Timmons, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Buildings and Grounds Committee has not met since the last regular session. The committee was pulled on resolution 662 on today's agenda. Jim Cleveland, the superintendent of Buildings and Grounds, stated the department has finished the first lighting project for the energy transition plans. He noted all of the lighting at the emergency services office has been replaced with modern LED lights, resulting in a huge improvement in lighting. He stated the department will soon begin the winterization of the government center air conditioning system and prepare the snowplow equipment for the winter. Additionally, Mr. Cleveland reported on the roofs project schedule. He stated on Saturday, September 18th, a fence was installed in the government center employee parking lot to contain the project materials and equipment. Cones, flags, and signage were utilized to make a temporary driving lane for the employees to drive through the lot. On Monday, September 20th, Mr. Cleveland was in the employee lot when employees arrived and all went well. The project is a week ahead of schedule and is slated to take approximately 4 weeks. The next Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, October 18th at 4:30 p.m.
Thank you, sir. Children and Family Services, Legislator Parker.
Mr. Chairman, the Children and Family Services Committee has not met since the last regular session. The next Children and Family Services Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, October 5th at 5:15 p.m. Under report.
Thank you. Economic Development and County Operations, Legislator Walden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Economic Development and County Operations Committee has not met since the last regular session. The next Economic Development and County Operations Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, October 13th at 4 p.m.
Finance, Legislator Timmons.
Yes, the Finance Committee has not met since the last regular session. The committee was pulled on resolution 663 on today's agenda. Excuse me. The next Finance Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, October 6th at 5:15 p.m.
Thank you, sir. And Health with Legislator Hughes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Health Committee has not met since the last regular session. We are fortunate enough to have John Canosa, the Director of Public Health, here tonight to present an update on COVID-19 cases and vaccinations.
Thank you, John.
Good evening, John.
Okay, start with some case updates for you. As you all know, we've been surging lately, the last few weeks especially. Over the last few days, yesterday we had 30 new cases, on Monday 33, 27 on Sunday, 35 Saturday, and on Friday, a whopping 53. We now have a total of 239 active cases in isolation at this time, with 711 individuals in quarantine at the present time. It goes beyond saying that a number of our cases right now that we're finding every day, at least 50-60%, are school-related cases that are happening right now. So much so that one of our schools did shut down for a whole week, Saranac Elementary, as of last Friday. So
John, you're saying, if I understand correctly, over 50% are from our school age?
yes.
Okay. Not college age, school.
No,
Yeah.
school age, no. As a matter of fact, if you brought up the colleges, SUNY's doing quite well. Right now they have a total of 11 cases in isolation, which is very good for them. 4 on campus where they do have a vaccination requirement, or you must get a waiver that's hard to obtain. With 7 off-campus students being isolated right now, they are doing quite well, and they do a part of their own IEQ to determine who is a contact of a positive case when they do come up with that. So they are doing quite well, and that was expected simply because they have an 85 to 95% vaccination rate, with the 95 being representative of on-campus students right now, so, which is a requirement.
Just a question, are the colleges testing?
Oh, absolutely, they're still testing. They are still testing, not at the frequency weekly, the whole population like they did before, but they are still testing.
Okay. I had a student today and she didn't think so, so.
Yeah, SUNY is. SUNY is doing testing, yeah. We meet with our, as you know, Board of Health President, Dr. Kathleen Camello, and she reports good news. And I was able to thank her for her good results that she's had lately up there.
How often are they testing students?
They're testing every week, just not at the frequency of the entire school population. They're doing buildings at a time or parts of the campus at a time, but not everybody. They're trying to involve more of the off-campus students where there's, you know, obviously freedoms that are taken with social gatherings, and there are less of them vaccinated than the on-campus students. So currently our biggest workload is INQ case investigation right now, because we are the entity, just like every other county, that leads that charge in every county. So the workload is quite significant at this time, and we're still finding that half of our general community cases that we're finding are breakthrough cases. In other words, they had the COVID vaccine, yet they are finding they are positive, and in most cases, vast, overwhelming 90%, they're finding that they're not having many symptoms, if any at all, except perhaps a headache, or you know, something that lasted a little while like that. So fortunately, the vaccine is doing its job, keeping people from becoming desperately ill and or needing hospitalization, which is what we need. Speaking of the hospital, on the 20th of September, the hospital reported a total of 21 positive cases in their building, which is very high for them. Dr. Rietzema did report that by the 21st, the next day, that had come down to 17. So we have a big concern, justifiably so, for our mother hospital and what that they can care for. Of those 17 cases, 9 were Clinton County residents. The balance were from counties all around us. So yeah, they're taking care of a lot of people from more than just Clinton County. So for obvious reasons, we hold them very high in esteem for concern in the number of cases that they're seeing. Testing is continuing here at our Clinton County Health Department, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 to 12. We're seeing an uptick in the number of people requesting testing that need it, that don't have insurance or doctor providers. So that seems to be working quite well. And once we get our new contract finalized with Miramis, it will be a saliva test, and I can shift that work to other staff that, other than nurses, that can be well used in other places at our health department now, as you can probably understand. So pharmacies and healthcare practices continue with testing, though they're every 2 weeks we do call them to find out exactly what they're doing, what are their hours, so that we can provide that information to the public when we're asked of that question, because they do change over time. Well Now is back in business, has been for a little while. They had a flooding incident, so they were out of business for a while, but they're okay now. They're operating. We're happy for that. I must extend a big appreciation to CUPH, because they continue to do a significant number of tests every day at their 23 Hammond Lane facility, and we're happy we do have that. So what you do need, and I repeat it to everybody, if you do go to that facility, you've got to have a doctor's order in hand to bring them. They're not going to do a test without a doctor's order. So on the vaccination side of things, as we've been doing our Thursday pods, we continue that. We're starting to see a little bit of an uptick and a continuation of those people who are unvaccinated coming to our facility for free vaccination. So we have just completed our assistance to SUNY, helping them with their vaccination clinics for their unvaccinated students and on-campus and off-campus vaccinated students. So we're cleaning that up, getting that done. And we're working currently with migrant labor camps. There's currently a holdup with the Jamaican embassy, so they're not getting here as quick as the migrant labor camps desperately need them to be here right now performing work. So there's a little slowdown there, but we'll get to them when they get here. Upcoming, what do we have? 2 parts. High risk And high-risk individuals, those with comorbidities, some people like that, as well as senior citizens 65 and up. We're waiting for, obviously, the FDA final approval, ACIP approval, CDC, and then, of course, New York State has to give their blessing with guidance for how do we do these. So there's a little road to go, but as I understand, that's all.
That's the booster shot.
Yes. So right now, we're doing third shots for immunocompromised, those that have immunocompromised health and have a doctor's note. We're doing those as well. A few of those every week. So I think that's it. School testing just started today. Saranac schools, not the elementary, the other schools are starting their testing program there, which is consistent with the grant that we received and that we're offering with our partner CVES, and they're working that up with their staff at Saranac today. Some schools are behind. There's parts that are needed by the schools that must be achieved first. Those would be parental consent, as well from the parents that wish their children to be tested. Why not? It's free. I'll have my kid tested. It's a good thing. And also for the doctors, the medical consultants for each of the schools has to provide a doctor's order. So once that gets taken care of, CVES works with all of our schools to do that. So they're starting ramping up now, so which is a good thing. I'm glad they're starting now.
Is that random testing, John, or?
There's two parts of random testing, yes. There's two parts of testing. One is random asymptomatic testing. You still gotta have a parent providing consent for that testing. And then there's also, if the parent provides that, they also provide consent for if your child comes in the day and he's got a runny nose, a headache, maybe a fever, symptomatic testing by the nurse's office, separate from the once a week asymptomatic random testing. So, yeah, it's going full steam. We kind of fear what we're going to find out though once that school testing really ramps up. I fear that because as you know, we've heard for a long time, we've been doing this for 2 years coming up. A lot of kids, when they get COVID, asymptomatic. You just never know. You never know. That's my fear. So, but we've got the testing, we've got the money from the state, we're getting CVS to do it, and they're ramping up to do that with all of the schools inevitably. So that's all I have today.
Thank you, John. Calvin, do you have? Go ahead.
Yeah, I already asked John this before the meeting. The non-vaccinated positive cases, are you having any luck convincing them to get the shot after they've had the case? And you were telling us that they do get the shot.
Yes, we're seeing those are, I call them good war stories. We're seeing people that had COVID and they want to be vaccinated. So we're seeing a few of those. My nurses like to report little tidbits of information like that to me. And I'm glad they do. You know, it's always nice knowing those little things. So yes, they are. I mean, they're not coming to us in droves, which I wish they would, but they're coming. They're coming little by little. Yep.
And you didn't tell us before that they do that.
Oh,
Very,
yeah,
very
that was the point I
super
made to you because you had brought it to me.
Yeah.
The best person to fight COVID, if you have 10 people lined up to fight COVID, the person with the most protection is going to be that individual. Okay, I read it in a medical journal. First I read it in the news, and then I looked at a medical journal. The best person is that person who had COVID and then got vaccinated. They are more or less double protected in that area. That's the best. I mean, we're all vaccinated. That's a good thing, and that's the best we can offer right now. I don't want COVID. You don't want COVID. But that person represents a person who's got to come in, I call it from both ways.
And
See?
when they get the positive case, if they're not vaccinated, that period where they're going to be healthy isn't guaranteed too long, is it?
Yes, it's well known that their ability to fight the disease is short-term and waning very quickly. I've heard that it's as much as 9 to 12 weeks, which isn't very long. The vaccine offers you more.
So they can't sit back and say, I've had it, so I'm...
Yeah, I'm good to go. No, there's none of that. No, nobody be saying that. Nope. No, you're not good to go. You may be good to go for 9 to 12 weeks, but after that, it's back to square one. I guess that's the best way to look at it, right?
All right, sir. I think that'll do it. Thank you. Did I miss somebody? Okay.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, everybody. Good seeing you.
Legislative views?
The next Health Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, October 6th at 4:15 p.m. And
Human Services, Legislator Burgett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Human Services Committee has not met since the last regular session. Next Human Services Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, October 5th at 4:15. End of report.
Thank you. Personnel Committee, I will do that. The Personnel Committee met on Thursday, September 9th. Resolutions number 664 through 683 have been placed on tonight's agenda as a result of the committee's recommendation. And the committee was also polled on resolution number 684, which is also on today's agenda. The next Personnel Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, October 4th at 4 p.m. Plattsburgh International Airport, Legislator Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Plattsburgh International Airport Committee met earlier today. Chris Craig, the airport director, was present to discuss several resolutions, including authorizing planned maintenance agreement with Record USA. Mr. Craig also reported on discussion topics, including the runway construction update, tenant update, AARF vehicle update, and tenant negotiations and executive sessions. Resolutions 685 through 690 have been placed on the agenda as a result of the committee's recommendation. The next Plattsburgh International Airport Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, October 27th at 4 p.m. End of report. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Public Safety, Legislator Caston.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Public Safety Committee met on Thursday, September 9th. Major Nicholas Leon of the Sheriff's Department was present to discuss resolutions, including authorizing contracts for various school districts. Resolutions 691 through 699 have been placed on the agenda as a result of the committee's recommendations. The next Public Safety Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, October 4th at 5 p.m. End of report.
Thank you. Transportation, you have transportation?
Yep.
Transportation?
The Transportation Committee met on Monday, September 20th. Shannon Thayer, the planning technician, was present to discuss resolutions including authorizing Clinton County public transit fare changes. Carl Weiss, the highway superintendent, was also present to discuss several resolutions. Resolutions 700 through 707 have been placed on the agenda as a result of the committee's recommendation. The next Transportation Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, October 18th at 5:15 p.m. End of report.
Thank you, Jen.
Yep.
Liaison reports. We've heard from the Board of Health. Chamber of Commerce, Legislator Boddicker.
I will be attending a chamber meeting on October 8th. Other than that, no report.
Okay, thank you. Nothing. Cooperative Extension, Legislator Tibbetts.
Yes, we had a Zoom meeting last night. We are still looking for a new executive director to replace Mary. We're gonna start doing even some more advertising and hoping that we can find somebody to take that position. They're doing some in-person 4-H, things that are outside, such as archery, with everything that's ramping up with COVID. They're still doing a lot of video exercises and online, getting a lot of response to that, which is going well.
Discipline review and grievance, we don't have anything, right, Tim? Intercounty, Legislator Walden, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we met at the NISAC conference for a joint intercounty meeting with the western counties as well. Our presentation was by Niagara County on broadband and cellular service, or the lack of. And so they informed us of how they did their own maps in their own counties, because the state maps are faulty, as we all are aware of that. Basically, they have had their highway departments go out and do the mapping for them, so therefore they could apply for grants, and the companies would know exactly where the unserved are located. It was interesting how they did that, but end of report.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Nothing. LC and LG, Lake Champlain Lake George Regional Planning Board, Legislator Hughes.
No report.
Okay, thank you. Soil and water, legislators, Perrier or Timmons.
Yes, we met last night. Pete has got his plan put together to send into the state for next year, which is looking really good. The new technician is doing well, Caitlin Woods. Seems to be doing very well with the other technician and getting things done. They're still doing roadside soil erosion for the towns, getting prepared. It's amazing, they did some stuff up in Black Brook, and I think within a week, everything was green. So it does, still even this late in the season, is worthwhile to get it seeded so that we don't have runoff in the spring.
Probably some of the best soil in town.
Probably true.
It's very sandy, actually. It's amazing what that stuff can grow on or not grow on. It's
Oh, yeah?
And they're also gonna be doing another tire roundup in Black Brook, actually, this time on October 8th. They require that you call and get a spot in the lineup and how many tires that you're gonna be bringing. So anybody can call the office, and it's up to 10 tires that you can bring, but they recommend that you please call and set up a time.
Ready?
That's all I have.
We had an excellent report from the Executive Director for Workforce Development. So that's it for liaison. Staff members, do you have any reports? Ms. Keller?
Yes, based on the resignation of Legislator Conroy in advance of the upcoming election, Mike Zerlo asked me to take a look at the local law regarding replacement of a vacancy, and I did provide him with an opinion letter on September 16th, and I would like to request an executive session to discuss that opinion of the legislators.
Anything else, Ben?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Zerlo?
Very quickly, my office has been contacted by a few legislators requesting a change on the November 24th regular session to the 17th of November. So can everybody check their calendars, and if everybody's okay with that, we'll put it in the hopper. We will need to pass a resolution to change the date of a regular session. I'm letting you know that, so if you get back to me as soon as possible, or I'll have my office reach out to everybody, but I just wanted you to know the requested change is from November 24 to November 17. Secondly, Patty mentioned the NISAC conference, which was held in I believe, successful in Syracuse, Onondaga County hosted. We had a 6-person contingent there, so I'm hoping everybody brought back some wonderful ideas that we can implement. I have started my one-on-one meetings with department heads on the 2022 budget. No bloodshed to date. We are working through them. And finally, I also have a matter of litigation to discuss in executive session this evening.
For those that might not know, Mike left out an important thing. Mike was elected second vice president.
Yes, but the first vice president's running for Congress now, so I'm not getting bumped up.
Anyways, Michael was elected, at least for now, second vice president for NISAC while we were down there. And you got all of our votes, my guy. Thank you. Thank you. So congratulations on that, that's well deserved. And that will
Comes with a $0 stipend.
yes, but it'll serve our county well, so that's a good thing. Okay, we'll move on to the resolutions. Before voting on the resolutions, I want to note that the majority of the resolutions have been thoroughly discussed by the appropriate committees, and the legislature is taking action tonight based largely in part on the recommendation of those committees. Mr. Zerlo, would you please read the title of the resolutions to be acted upon?
Certainly. For the last time, Resolution 661, adopting local law number 2 of 2021 titled, amending local law number 2 of the year 2018 titled, amending local law number 3 of the year 2015 titled, amending local law number 2 of the year 2012 titled, amending local law number 2 of the year 2011 titled, amending local law number 2 of the year 2008 titled, Clinton County Room Occupancy Tax Law, Legislature.
Motion by legislator Timmons, second by legislator Potter for discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 662, authorizing contract with KAS Incorporated Buildings and Grounds.
Motion by legislator Timmons, second by legislator Perrier. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried. Resolution 663, authorizing the county treasurer to increase appropriation and corresponding revenue for the capital project titled Snow Removal Equipment Project, Plattsburgh International.
Motion legislator Timmons, second legislator Hall. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried. Resolution 664, approving backfill of permanent full-time supervisor of fiscal services position, social services.
Motion legislator Potiker, second legislator Perrier. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 665, approving backfill of 2 temporary full-time clerk, home energy assistant program heat positions, social services.
Motion legislator Potiker, second legislator Waldron. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 666, approving backfill of temporary full-time social welfare examiner home energy assistance program position, social services.
Motion legislator Potiker, second legislator Perrier. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 667, approving backfill of permanent full-time social welfare examiner position, social services.
Motion legislator Potiker, second legislator Waldron. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 668, approving backfill of permanent full-time motor equipment operator 1, highway.
Motion legislator Hughes, second legislator Potiker. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 669, approving backfill of permanent full-time custodial worker, Plattsburgh International.
Motion legislator Hall, second legislator Potiker. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 670, approving backfill of permanent part-time custodial worker position, Plattsburgh International.
Motion legislator Hall, second legislator Hughes. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 671, approving backfill of permanent part-time custodial worker position, Plattsburgh International.
Motion legislator Hall, second legislator Timmons. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 672, approving backfill of permanent full-time account clerk typist position, office for the aging.
Motion legislator Perrier, second legislator Hughes. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 673, approving backfill of permanent full-time services for the aging specialist, office for the aging.
Motion legislator Perrier, second legislator Hughes. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 674, approving reclassification of permanent full-time social worker 1 position down to a permanent full-time mental health clinician 1 position with backfill, mental health and addiction.
Motion legislator Castine, second legislator Hall. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 675, approving reclassification of permanent full-time social worker 1 position down to a permanent full-time mental health clinician 1 position with backfill, mental health and addiction.
Motion legislator Hall, second legislator Timmons. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 676, approving leave of absence for permanent full-time nurses aide position, nursing home.
Motion legislator Timmons, second legislator Waldron. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 677, approving medical leave of absence for permanent full-time licensed practical nurse position, nursing home.
Motion legislator Waldron, second legislator Castine. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just as a side note, give the latest email regarding the September 27th medical vaccination mandate. Is some of our employees have made the affirmative decision to get vaccinated, so it is not as bad as we once feared, so it's moving along in the right direction. Resolution 678, approving backfill of full-time account clerk typist probation.
Motion legislator Castine, second legislator Hall. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 679, approving backfill of temporary part-time special patrol officer position, sheriff's department.
Motion legislator Hall, second legislator Timmons. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 680, approving increase in step for the Economic Development Director position, Legislature.
Motion, legislator Timmons, second, legislator Waldron. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 681, approving creation of a permanent full-time Veterans Counselor position, Veteran Services.
Motion, legislator Waldron, second, legislator Castine. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 682, approving battle of permanent full-time account clerk typist position, Mental Health and Addiction.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Hall. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 683, approving reclassification of permanent full-time mental health clinician 2 position to a permanent full-time social worker 1 position with backfill, mental health and addiction.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Timmons. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 684, approving creation of a temporary full-time junior assistant district attorney position, district attorney's office.
Motion, legislator Timmons, second, legislator Waldron. Discussion?
Kim, why don't you let the board know what we're doing here? Those that
So,
are not on personnel.
yep, so this is not a new FTE in the department for the district attorney's office. This allows the district attorney to hire someone who has yet to pass the New York State board. So they are going to be doing that, but that's quite a process. It's about 5 months when somebody takes the exam and gets their scores back. Once that individual passes, it will move into a assistant district attorney position, and this position will go away. So there is no new FTE.
Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 685, authorizing coronavirus response and relief supplemental appropriation act airport grant amendment number 1, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Hughes. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yeah.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Resolution 686, authorizing planned maintenance agreement with Record USA, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Perrier. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Carried. Resolution 687, authorizing contract with Tracy Road Equipment, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Potiphar. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 688, authorizing contract with McFarland Johnson for design, construction, observation, and administration services for the exit lane modification system project, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Timmons. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Resolution 689, authorizing American Rescue Plan Act airport grant application and acceptance, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Hughes. Discussion?
Just those of you that are on the airport, just to, we throw these acronyms around, to update you, the airports, but our airport specifically was part of all 3 legislative, federal legislation having to do with COVID relief, so CARES, CARISA, and ARPA, so that's why you're seeing, so we obviously still need that money to pay debt service off that we normally use PFCs, passenger facility charge, and parking revenue to do. So this was a welcome relief, and we'll be working with Chris and his team to decide how much of that revenue should be incorporated in his budget based on future projections.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yeah.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 690, authorizing lease agreement with Safe Tow Towing and Recovery, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Perrier. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yeah.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Resolution 691, authorizing various court security contracts for the year 2022 Sheriff's Department.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Hall. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yeah.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 692, authorizing contract with Glenn Schroyer, MD, Sheriff's Department.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Perrier. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried. Resolution 693, authorizing the purchasing agent to solicit bids for a high-volume natural gas-powered tankless hot water heater removal and installation service. Sheriff's Department.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Boddicker. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried. Resolution 694, authorizing contract with Clinton Community College. Sheriff's Department.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Waldron. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried. Resolution 695, authorizing various contracts for the year 2022. Sheriff's Department.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Hall. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 696, authorizing contracts with various school districts. Sheriff's Department.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Perrier. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried. Resolution 697, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation for the district attorney's federal justice seizure reserve account, district attorney's office.
Motion, legislator Timmons, second, legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried. Resolution 698, authorizing payment of membership dues, public defender's office.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Perrier. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 699, authorizing contract amendment with SimQuest Group, public defender's office.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Boddicker. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried. Resolution 700, authorizing Clinton County Public Transit fare changes, Clinton County Public Transit.
Motion, legislator Hughes, second, legislator Boddicker. Discussion.
I got some
Yes, sir.
questions. This looks like it's just to make it so it's more convenient, less costly for the rural trips.
That is part of it. The overall goal is to simplify the fare system. In so doing, increase ridership on the system. But yes, the gentleman, transportation helped me here, but the in-city routes, quite frankly, we're subsidizing the rural routes. So those rates will now be the same.
Okay, and like I see, $10 if you call, rural, that round trip or one way?
I think it's one way.
One way,
The
sir.
rural dial ride is $10, it's one way.
Yep.
You can get a,
That's normally for medical appointments.
yeah, somebody,
What's the day pass is new? Is the day pass new? It's not new,
But no, it's not new. But it is increasing by $8.
Right, oh, yeah, right,
because I know this works in both ways. I know there's at least one place up there in Champlain that people were bused from the city to go to work there. So it's not just people coming in this direction, it's people going to work up in some of the places. So it's important to have it so they can afford to.
I'm not sure. I don't. Can you repeat that?
There was a place on Route 9 in the village of Champlain. My wife worked there briefly after YF closed. And there were buses, the bus would go there and drop workers off from Plattsburgh area. So it's not just picking up people in the rural area.
Correct.
Plattsburgh.
No, it is.
It's also bringing,
The system,
North,
in
south,
theory, is
whatever.
designed to go both ways.
We don't ban. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Calvin, for bringing that up. I was just curious, so is this dial-a-ride something new?
No,
I've never been on the transportation committee, but what was the price then?
it didn't change.
It didn't
Dial ride
change.
did not change.
Thank you.
Josh, you said.
No, so the only reason we did it that way was so you could see all the changes in each specific category. So left side was current, right side is proposed.
so is there a way people can get the outside.
Yeah, you're getting out of my comfort level here. But I do know that obviously the routes are available, and if you don't deviate, if the person requesting the ride is not too much of a deviation, and there's rules from the published route, that is a possibility.
They have to call ahead as well, right? I think they have to call ahead for that too, right?
Yep.
For the deviation.
They should.
Yeah, so you can go by your.
Well, I think the case that Legislator Castine is doing is somebody who uses it frequently, and there's an understanding that there may be somebody out there.
Oh,
Yeah, the bus will always make a stop in route, if you call ahead and say, I'm gonna be out, pick them up. And the one thing that I noticed on the thing was that if, for the monthly charge, if you take enough, pay for enough routes and you equal that monthly charge, then you can ride the rest of the month for free. You won't go over that monthly charge.
right.
This was just
Well, it's
basically.
a package, we don't, I'm sorry, I'm go ahead.
This is just basically simplifying it. I mean, we had so many different charges, and Shannon took that through, and I think it was really fair the way we now it's easier to see what you would pay if you actually
Yeah.
ride a bus.
Sure, I mean, they're trying to encourage ridership, make
Right.
it simpler, make it understood. I mean, that's the goal of this whole thing.
The rural fare, instead of being $3, is now the regular fare of $2.
Correct.
Yes. Any further discussion?
I will say, and I know this is an important discussion, I know Shannon would be happy to answer any specific questions. Number two, this resolution was vetted not in one meeting, but I believe over 3 meetings, so it was discussed at length.
Anything else to add? Roll call.
Ms. Perrier?
Yeah.
Ms. Walter? Carried. Resolution 701, authorizing contract with Token Transit, Clinton County Public Transit.
Motion, legislator Potiker, second, legislator Hughes. Discussion.
This is also part of the previous discussion. This is a company that we're gonna use to have a mobile app on your phone, so such that you can buy all those passes that we just discussed, and they can be on your phone, secure, so the bus driver knows, so it provides a lot more flexibility and ease of service, so we're expecting that the ridership increases just because we do this contract.
Good thing. Anything else on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 702, authorizing engineering services agreement with Barton and Judas DPC for final design and work relative to reconstruction of Military Turnpike, Ruger Street intersection, highway.
Motion, legislator Potiker, second, legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Resolution 703, authorizing application to the New York State Department of Transportation's Transportation Alternatives Program, highway.
Motion, legislator Hughes, second, legislator Potiker. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 704, authorizing contract amendment with Airgas Incorporated, highway.
Motion, legislator Potiker, second, legislator Hughes. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 705, authorizing contract with Hartson Total Opening Incorporated, highway.
Motion, legislator Hughes, second, legislator Potiker. Discussion. Roll call.
Ms. Perrier?
Yeah.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Resolution 706, establishing rates for snow and ice removal services on county roads during the 2021-22, 2022-23, and 2023-24 snow and ice seasons, highway.
Motion, legislator Potiker, second, legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Ms. Perrier?
Yeah.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Carried. Resolution 707, authorizing contract amendment with MX Petroleum Corporation, highway.
Motion, legislator Hughes, second, legislator Potiker. Discussion. Roll call.
Ms. Perrier?
Yeah.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Carried. Resolution 708, complying with New York State Controller regulations by establishing standard workday and reporting of retirement credit for elected and appointed officials, legislature.
Motion, legislator Timmons, second, legislator Waldron. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 709, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation and corresponding revenue for the 2021 Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act various program grants, employment, and training.
Motion legislator Timmons, second legislator Potiker, discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Carried. Resolution 710, authorizing the county treasurer to increase appropriation and corresponding revenue for the Workforce Investment Act grant, employment, and training.
Motion legislator Timmons, second legislator Potiker, discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 711, authorizing the county treasurer to adjust appropriations in various airport accounts, Plattsburgh International.
Motion legislator Timmons, second legislator Hall, discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier? Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 712, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriations and corresponding revenue for the Child Passenger Safety Grant, Sheriff's Department.
Motion legislator Timmons, second legislator Castine, discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 713, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation and corresponding revenue for the Police Traffic Services Grant, Sheriff's Department.
Motion legislator Timmons, second legislator Castine, discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Castine, carried.
Resolution 714, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation and corresponding revenue for the community-based traffic safety program grant, Sheriff's Department.
Motion legislator Timmons, second legislator Castine, discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Carried. We're into 13.2. We have a resolution. I'd like to ask to waive 13.2. May I have a motion? Motion by legislator Castine. May I have a second? Second by legislator Hughes. All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion?
No, so, resolution, I gotta read the title, Chairman.
You do.
Resolution 715, congratulating Clinton Community College's students, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends on the occasion of its inaugural Founder's Day celebration.
I had a conversation with the interim, is it interim, John?
Administrator in charge.
The administrator in charge, John Paul, we all know.
And I was in charge,
Yeah.
I'm just administrator.
Very good. Very good. As Michael said, they have Founder's Day. Clinton Community College is going to be celebrating Founder's Day. We would like to offer a proclamation to celebrate that. I have been asked to read this proclamation at Founder's Day, and I would certainly be happy to do that. I haven't looked at my calendar yet, but I penciled it in with John anyhow, but if I can't make it, we will certainly find a legislator to do that. So, like all proclamations, I would ask that this be 4-4, Mr. Perrier, Ms. Waldron, 4-4? Any further discussion, questions on recognizing Founder's Day for Community College? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We will get this in suitable form, sir.
Great, thank you very much.
Anything further there? I don't think so. Does anyone have anything further to come to the legislature before I entertain a motion to go into executive session? Hearing nothing, I'll take a motion for executive session. Motion by legislator Hall, second by legislator Perrier. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. We are in executive session. Thank you all. I'll take a motion to, if there's nothing further to discuss, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
No.
What am I missing?
Resolution 716,
Oh, God, thank you for keeping.
amending resolution 542 dated August 18, 2021, titled Authorizing Retainer Agreement with Goldberg Segala LLP, Legislature.
Is that all in favor?
No.
That's a roll call?
Yes.
Okay.
Move it.
Motion, legislator Hall. Second, legislator Perrier. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Walter?
Yes.
Carried. If there's no further discussion or anything to come before this legislature, I would ask for a motion to adjourn. Motion from legislator Hall, second from legislator Timmons. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all.